Everybody went like this because he was sitting over here in my seat. There you go.
Are we ready? Let's call the city council meeting order. Let's call the meeting to order. Tuesday, January the 16th, 2007, right at 7 o'clock p.m. We will have the invocation by the Reverend William Chambers Sr., Church of the Nazarene, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, the Police Explorers, and Councilwoman Garner. I don't see the Explorers this evening. And Councilwoman Garner will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all please stand?
Shall we pray? Almighty God, we thank you for the privilege to live in this wonderfully diverse community of Homestead. We thank you for the joy of life and the privilege that we have to labor and prosper on the edge of the Everglades and the Florida Keys. We ask you, Lord, to pour out your wisdom and fill the minds of our council members and mayor. May their hearts be full of justice and their soul be filled with your love. Guide the decisions that they make, that it may influence for the better this community and these people. And may we support them and be bound together in unity for the good of all. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please place the flag. Face the flag and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Chambers and Councilwoman Garner. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Roscoe Warren.
Present.
Vice Mayor Stephen Mosner.
Here.
Councilwoman Linda Bell. Here. Councilwoman Amanda Gardner. Here. Councilman Norman Hodge.
Here.
Councilman Jeffrey Forden.
Here.
Councilwoman Judy Wallman. Here.
Additions, deletions, or deferrals, any? None. Special presentations, plaque presentations for Officer of the Year, K-9 Officer John Monaco, Councilman Porter. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I know everyone that's watched any of the council meetings know that once a month the police department, they basically reward one officer for being the outstanding officer. What you have tonight is Officer John Monaco, who has been chosen by the police department to be the Officer of the Year. The mayor and the council wanted to recognize Officer Monaco because currently the way the police department does it is they use their it's a ball that they do at around the Christmas season, but we wanted to bring up Officer Monaco and the police department and let them show you their Officer of the Year. Chief, Jen.
Well, if I could, I'll just go over some of the highlights of John's year and tell you a little bit about him. John started out as a South Miami police officer and he was there several years in 1990. He was actually Officer of the Year with South Miami in 1993. He received Officer of the Month for January and May. For January, he had 11 arrests, 3 felonies, 8 misdemeanors. One of those subjects was a homicide subject. In May, he had a total of 16 arrests, with 11 of those were self-initiated, and he had numerous canine searches. John is a canine officer, very difficult job, and I'll go over some of his stats for the year. He handled over 400 alarm calls, did over 250 searches with his dog. So you can imagine how grueling that is, and that can be perimeters, building checks, numerous different situations. He also had 35 actual bodily apprehensions with his dog, which is an amazing feat. He also assisted on 60 additional arrests with his dog, using his dog to keep a subject at bay or different situations. John's been with us quite a while. He's been a patrol officer. He was a detective for a few years. Came back to patrol to become a canine officer, and he's definitely one of the best canine officers we have. So it was a great pleasure that our patrol order, Police Lodge 13, made him the Officer of the Month, or Officer of the Year, excuse me, for 2006.
Officer Monaco, this plaque is presented to you from the city and the police department, City of Homestead and the police department, and it reads, presented to Officer John Monaco, Canine Officer John Monaco, 2006 Officer of the Year, with our sincerest appreciation and gratitude for your untiring dedication and service to the Homestead Police Department and our community, City of Homestead, Mayor and City Council. And we have one other thing that we'd like to, we want to try to make this a very competitive thing for the police officers to strive for. And the mayor and the council this year have, we hope to be able to create this as an ongoing effort. But we wanted to award Officer Monaco, as being the Officer of the Year, a $1,000 cash donation on behalf of the mayor and the city council. And hopefully your colleagues and yourselves will be striving for this every year. We wanted to thank you very, very much.
And Mr. Porter, we want the FOP to match that $1,000 contribution.
As Councilman Porter previously stated, I've been up here a couple times this year, and the first 2 times I forgot people. The 3rd time I kind of choked, so this time I came ready. First of all, I'd like to thank God. May all the glory and honor be His. I'd like to thank my family for all their support and love. I'd like to thank you, Mayor Warren, and Council for your continued support of the Police Department. I'd like to thank Councilman Porter for being the Police Commissioner and challenging me this year in January of 06, to be the Officer of the Year. I'd like to thank City Manager Kurt Ivey for all your hard work in keeping the city moving forward. I'd like to thank Chief Roll and all of the command staff. Chief, I'd like to thank you for all your support and faith in me. Major Kennedy, for all your leadership and guidance. Major Villaranga, for all your support and access to GIU and SIU. I'd like to thank all of you that I just mentioned for your support of the K-9 program and for giving me K-9 King. Captain Phobia, I'd like to thank you for your continued organization and administration of the Officer of the Month and Year program. I really appreciate it, and all the officers do. You're kind of standing behind me, so it makes it difficult. I'd like to thank all my immediate supervisors, Lieutenant Kent, Sergeant Pritchett, and Sergeant Johnson, for continuing to challenge me to do better, having faith in me to do the job right, and all their guidance and suggestions. I'd like to thank the K-9 unit for all their training and experience and all the help they've given me. I'd like to thank the SIU and GIU unit, specifically Detectives Aquino and Grady, for following up on cases that I made and helping me with some serious clusters. I'd like to thank the entire Uniform Patrol Division. A special thanks to Midnights for all the backup, hard work, and friendship throughout the year. I'd like to thank all the dispatchers and corrections officers. Without you, the job would be very hard and difficult, and you take a lot of burden off us. I'd like to thank all the admin personnel of the police department. Heather and Marty specifically, thank you for working hard behind the doors and making sure that everything goes smoothly. I'd like to thank all the business owners of the City of Homestead who support the Officer of the Month and Year program. I'd like to thank all the citizens of the city. I'm proud to live here and work here for you, and I accept this award on behalf of all of you, because without you I wouldn't be here. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Porter. And we'll deduct that 1,000 out of your paycheck. No problem.
You're in the red again. He's going, oh, it's Mary. It'll take a couple months. After you.
You might as well stay up to Mr. Porter. 5B is the Homestead Miami Speedway check presentation. Homestead Hospital's Pediatrics. Councilman Porter.
This check will be short of 1,000, Mayor.
Well, we do this, seems like, once a year where we come up and present a check to the hospital, and we've got a great partnership with the hospital, especially with our pediatrics unit, which we're very excited when the new hospital opens. And I know Bill Duquette is even more excited than we are to get the new hospital open. There's two programs that we're going to recognize tonight. The first is called Hot Rods and Reels. It's Daryl Gwynn. Daryl Gwynn was a drag racer who was injured and paralyzed, and a good friend of mine personally for a number of years came to us and established a fishing tournament during Ford Championship weekend. And it's grown over the years. It's a fantastic tournament. So tonight, and I'll get the check. On behalf of the Daryl Gwynn Foundation and Homestead Miami Speedway, we're going to present a check for $25,000 to Pediatrics. The second program and the second check is really exciting for all NASCAR fans across the country. The program's called NASCAR Day, and it was established a couple years ago. And because of this pediatrics unit and Betty Jane Francis starting Pediatrics, we're a benefactor of that program. This past year, NASCAR Day, which in 2007 will be March 18th, the entire program collected $1.3 million across the country. NASCAR fans participating, and they buy pins for $5, so you can donate more, but they charge $5, and companies all across the country take part in this program. And because of that, we raise a heck of a lot of money, and again, we're a benefactor. And tonight, because of NASCAR Day and NASCAR fans across the country, we're going to present a check for $100,000 to Pediatrics. And again, I just want to say this pediatric program has been a lot of fun. We announced it several years ago, and Bo Bollinger, who was the chairman, the CEO of the hospital at that time, challenged us, and we did actually a $600,000 renovation of the old hospital with pediatrics. And since then, I think we've raised close to $1 million. I mean, if you looked at $125,000 we presented tonight, plus the money that was raised during the gala, I know Councilwoman Waldman and a number of you all helped raise that money. I think it was around $125,000. That's $250,000 in the last year that we've raised for pediatrics. I think this is one of the neatest programs, and it's a lot of fun, and it gets a lot of recognition for the hospital. So I'd like these guys to come up and say a word.
Thanks, Curtis. On behalf of the hospital, we really want to thank you. We have a special relationship, as you mentioned before, with the racetrack. And we see this beautiful new facility nearing completion down the road. On the 4th floor, when you come, is our new pediatrics unit. And we really look forward to opening it and having that available for the community. So thank you guys very much for the donation.
And if you recall, Mayor, what about 2 weeks ago, we had another $50,000 donated. It wasn't specifically to this pediatric unit, but so last 4 or 5 weeks, been a nice shot of money that's been donated to the hospital. So we're very proud of Homestead's relationship with the hospital and sponsorship of the hospital. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Item 5C is the Education Committee recognizes Miami-Dade County Public Schools Region 6 Teacher of the Year and finalist. Councilwoman Bell?
Mayor, can we put that down at the end of special presentations as the Teacher of the Year is currently stuck in traffic?
Okay.
So if we'll just put that down after the Homestead Main Street update, we'll go forward after that.
Very good.
Thank you.
Item 5D is the Safety Award winners for the month of January 2007. Councilwoman Wellman.
It's that time of the month again that we have our Safety Award Program Awards. The City of Homestead recognizes three employees each month. Usually we have more than three because we have somebody that's not present, so it's hard to keep track of how many will be here, but very proud of those that are here today. They must be a full-time employee of the city, and they must be free of accidents and injuries for the preceding 6 consecutive months. They must not have received workman's comp benefits for the preceding 6 consecutive months. So, I should know this all by heart. I've been up here so many times with this. But the recognition includes a certificate, a paid day off, which is very important, a safety badge. Their names are posted in the lobby here at City Hall, and a $25 check from our city attorneys. So this month, the winner of our safety awards are Robert Jenkins, General Services. Robert. Leonard Cunningham with Electric Utilities. Leonard. And is Lawrence Lombard here? Lawrence, there you are, hiding behind those cameras. Come on up. Congratulations. I'm proud to have you here. Step right on up here. It's your time to shine.
I just want to say thank you for everyone that nominated me for Employee. Is that Employee Month? Safety Award. I'm sorry.
Well, that's how it goes.
But thank you.
I want to just say thank you, and I'm very grateful for Homestead and their awards for safety. Thanks.
Thank you, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And when you see all these fine men and women working in our city, just know that they do take risk every single day, and we do certainly appreciate everything that they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wallman. Next is item 5E, the Homestead Main Street update. Colin Tyler. And the gang.
That's Colin Tyler. I'm the co-chair of the promotions for the Homestead Main Street organization, and I'm here with my wonderful committee, Mardi Gras committee, and yes, we do have a Mardi Gras planned for February 17th. But before I go any further, please let me introduce my committee. Pam Hartman, Annette Eichler, Sarah Finicaro, and Leslie Gender. Before I present our Mardi Gras, our fabulous Mardi Gras, Pam has a few announcements for the Main Street.
Hi. Yvonne wasn't able to be here tonight, so I just want to make a couple of quick announcements. The Historic Town Hall Museum, along with Homestead Main Street, is presenting as part of their 2007 lecture series. This Thursday, January 18th at 7 o'clock, Jesse Robinson of Homestead is going to, his long-awaited reprint of his biography is going to be presented along with a roundtable discussion featuring John Frederick Jr., Gene Sullivan Hunt, Annie Mae Kissam, and Jesse's son, Jesse Robinson Jr. So we'd certainly like to invite everybody out to support that. The following Thursday, which is going to be January 25th, We finally got a bookstore in downtown Homestead. Grand opening is going to be next Thursday, and there's going to be a Meet the Author. It's called Spellbound Books and Gifts. It's downtown on Chrome Street, owned by Denise Sleeper, and the book is called The Man Who Fed the World by Leon Hesser. He's going to be there in person to talk about it. Published by Durkin House Publishing. Going to have ribbon cutting at 5:30 for the grand opening and refreshments at 6 o'clock. Mr. Hesser will be speaking at 7 o'clock, so we'd like to invite everybody out to support those events. Thank you.
Okay. When I first came with my family when we evacuated from New Orleans, I was very fortunate to have met Councilwoman Wildman and presented a Mardi Gras proposal. She was so gracious to point me in the direction of Von Knowles with the Homestead Main Street organization. Since then, I've been involved with 4 festivals, one of which a few months ago was the night in New Orleans at the Art South Sanctuary, and Homestead was there to support us. We had linked with the Habitat for Humanity in New Orleans, which is with the project of the Musicians Village that is spearheaded by Harry Connick Jr. and the Marcellus brothers. And this Mardi Gras, not only is it our plan to bring the communities together, but also it's a charity drive, and the theme of our Mardi Gras here this year is to put a yacht back in New Orleans, and they call us yachts. And if you ever seen any Saints games, and when they're holding up signs saying "Who dat" and "Where you at," and that's what a New Orleans is. It took almost 300 years to get a yacht, and we need to put them back in their homes. We can't go back as a family, but we need to also understand that New Orleans is a vital part of American culture, and it needs a lot of help. And so far, we have over $10,000 worth of sponsorships for our Mardi Gras. We have a concert sponsor. We're flying Chewy Thunderfoot Black, a great blues player that I played with through the years. Chewy will be here with his band. We have other local bands involved. We have title sponsorships, and people are just jumping on board. We put letters together, my wife and I, and sent them out to the alumni associations of LSU, Loyola, Tulane, and several other colleges in Louisiana, and we had a great response. We're very excited about this. It's going to be a great party share. So, and thank you so much for letting us present this to you. We have our poster will be out tomorrow. Of course, you can get all the information at the office of the Main Street, Homestead Main Street. Also at my cafe, Maya's Creole Cafe, in the Antique Mall, and the Bella Cora, that's Pam's Boutique, and several other places. Remember, though, not just to bring the communities together and to have fun, which we're going to do, but to raise money through the Habitat and bring Homestead in the forefront of doing their bit and making a difference to bringing a yacht back. And one other thing, how about them Saints? Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the update. Ms. Bell, you ready?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Before I even get started, I would like to ask the members of the Education Committee that are present to join me up here. We have a wonderful committee. Dr. Wagner, that includes you. And Sherelle is modeling our new red Education Committee shirts. We don't want you to miss us. and Rosemary Fuller. On behalf of the Region 6 Teacher of the Year Selection Committee, we are very pleased to announce that Mr. Richard L. Ingram, Jr., a teacher at South Dade Adult Education Center, has been chosen as the 2008 Francisco R. Walker Teacher of the Year for Regional Center 6. And we would like to extend our congratulations to Mr. Ingram along with our best wishes for his success at the district level. Please join us. And the reason Mr. Ingram has his plaque is because I presented it to him at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon, so we asked him to bring it back. It's a beautiful plaque that we've done on behalf of the City of Homestead and City Council. Also, this is the certificate of appreciation presented to Richard Ingram, Region 6 Teacher of the Year, in recognition of your dedication and commitment to excellence in education. And we presented this to him on December 14th at the Chamber of Commerce meeting. Very, very well deserved. Thank you. Stay here. We also would like to recognize the following finalists. Mr. Kevin Blankenship from Coral Reef Senior High School. He's not here? Okay, and Miss Lori Marie Daly is also not here, but she's from Bel Air Elementary School. We also have Mr. Don Drinkin from South Dade Senior High School. And also Mr. Jeffrey Hollingsworth, Laura C. Saunders Elementary School. Dr. Wagner, would you like to say a word?
On behalf of Region 6, we'd like to thank you for honoring these fine folks for the job that they do. In addition to Mr. Ingram, we also have his principal with us, Ms. Granberry. Ms. Granberry, she's here with us. And representing Laura Saunders is the principal, Dr. Grace Nebb. We'd like to thank Councilwoman Bell and the rest of the commission for the fine job you do in supporting education in this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to do a picture right up front here, and then I have one more announcement to make. I know. You want us up here? Thank you. Including the education committee. Come on. I cannot brag enough about our education committee as well. They are just so wonderful. But I have been saving this announcement. I'm very excited about it. About, I guess, oh my goodness, I think it was probably 20 months ago or so, I was informed by our by Miss Evelyn Greer that we had a problem in our community of truancy. And so I began a bit of a, I guess I could say a little bit of a task force, if you will, to look into what we can do in the area of truancy, especially when it came to my attention that Homestead Senior High School did so poorly on the exams because of their lack of participation, because they were hurt by their attendance. So we thought, what are we going to do about this? So I brought a truancy initiative to council, and a lot of conversation about it, but we went forth with it, and it's kind of like the wheels turn very slowly when you're going for grant monies. And Sandy and Annie with SOS, we put our heads together, and it was pretty much a compilation of the city, myself representing the city council education committee. We brought Miss Sandy to our education committee. We discussed it at length. We had meetings at the police department with our school board police as well. And we thought, what could we do? So we put our heads together and came up with the truancy initiative, and what we thought would be really great to seek grant monies from the Children's Trust for a type of an in-house suspension facility. Because what good is it if you suspend the students and then they go home or they go off to get into trouble? We need to have some type of facility whereby they would have to go to in-house suspension, where there would be computers, they would be monitored, they would have to do their schoolwork. So there would be this constant check on these students. So that's what we applied for quite a long time ago. So I wanted to read this update for you. On Wednesday, December the 13th, Ms. Nanny attended a Children's Trust meeting in which our truancy initiative was discussed. So they decided to fund Kids Hope in order to address the truancy issue county-wide. The Children's Trust is also going to fund for South Dade, which is Homestead and Florida City, an additional $1 million for truancy. This will go through Kids Hope and will be a collaborative partnership with We Care, our Project SOS, Weed and Seed, Sweet Vine, Center Campesino, HAL, Galata, Admit, Avery Professionals, and Barrett Technologies. The good news is that these will bring we wanted at least one, and we're getting three suspension truancy sites to the area, and these sites will be operated by various agencies. However, on another note, we also applied, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, so we also applied to the Children's Trust under the Service Partnership Grant for additional funding. So funding in the amount of $306,000 was awarded for this. And this funding is for a vast array of adolescent services that would be provided through Project SOS. In addition to that, we have been awarded another Children's Trust grant for $750,000. This grant has a component for an alternative to suspensions and a truancy intervention program that will be operated by Sweet Vine. So they will actually be the operators. They have an after-school program and are opening it up in the daytime as an alternative to outdoor suspension and as a drop-off point for truants. But it does fund also one truancy suspension center to address specifically Campbell Middle School and Homestead Senior High, and this is all in the works as we speak, and I've been kind of keeping this under my hat. And this particular one should be up and running by February 1st. And that was all got started because I got one phone call from our school board member saying we had a problem and said, okay, what are you going to do about it? So we are getting literally over $2 million in our community to help us combat truancy in Homestead. There you go. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of my committee as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bell, and what a fantastic news about truancy, and maybe we're on our way to solving that problem once and for all with all that money. Outstanding job. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Before we go with the consent agenda, I'd just like to make a comment. I failed to do it at the last meeting, but I just wanted to recognize the fine work of the manager and the deputy manager in putting together a new department in the city of Homestead, and that's the Department of Budgeting and Performance. If some of you recall, I think right after the financial condition we went through several years ago, one of the first action the manager took was to remove budgeting out of the finance department. And I think this council at that time had directed him to look at putting together a department of budgeting separate from the finance department. And right before the Christmas holidays, the manager announced that Ms. Joanna Faddis was the new director of budgeting and performance, and he could not have made a better choice. She is just absolutely phenomenal, and she has a tremendous mind dealing with budgets and finance and you name it, and we are so pleased, and I was so excited that Joanna have taken on that responsibility. In addition to that, it's a very special note. This will be the first, Joanna will be the first Mexican-American to head a department in the city of Homestead. And that's also a fantastic reason to be proud of the decision of the manager and the deputy manager in moving forward with the department. So, Joanna, congratulations. You've done a good job. I know you'll continue to do a good job, and we are just so pleased that you're taking on that awesome responsibility. Congratulations.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Council members, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Kurt, Mike, and Marlene for giving me their support and their guidance. I've been working for the city for over 13 and a half years now, and I've been very fortunate in working in an environment where I have been able to gain valuable skills and knowledge that have afforded me the opportunity to grow professionally. I hope to continue working as hard as I've been working and hopefully work for the city for at least 13 more years.
The consent agenda, is there a motion for approval? So moved. Moved by Councilwoman Bell, is there a second? Second. Second by Councilman Hodge. Any question on the consent agenda? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Public hearing, land use items. Mr. Weiss.
Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment on any of these items, please indicate the item number you'd like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentation on each item. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak on behalf of the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda. At this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any quasi-judicial item.
Please stand, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. May be seated.
Item 7A is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Michelle Wajanovich for a rezoning from R1 One-Family District to B1A Professional Business Restricted District for property located at 90 Northwest 15th Street as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
Move approval. Moved by Councilwoman Porter for approval, second by Councilwoman Bell. Any initial comments from council on this request? If not, this is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience at this time? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? You want to say anything?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is really easy. I'd just like to say it's nice to be back. Happy New Year, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Garner? Yes. Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lozner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman? Yes. Councilwoman Bell? Yes. Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Item Item 7B is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a waiver of plats at Homestead DE 14 LLC for the division of property totaling approximately 3.47 acres into two parcels located within the Homestead Park of Commerce, north of Alex Muxo Boulevard and west of Southwest 142nd Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Woolman. Any comments from council on this request?
Just want to tell one comment. This is for the DEA property that's going to be taking place in the Park of Commerce. It's really, really exciting.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gardner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item C is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod C, Bay Winds of Cozumel, 137 single-family units on approximately 23.87 acres of land in the Bay Winds Plan Unit Development located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Is there a motion for moved by Councilwoman Bell, second?
Second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Porter. Any comments from council?
Just a quick question.
Mr. Porter?
Why was this not on with all the other pods last time? Because this is the only letter that was missing.
No, actually one more pod
sorry,
H is missing. It's coming next agenda. We were working on the entrance feature and some of the outstanding items before we bring it to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gardner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item 7D is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use to allow the operation of a restaurant with on-premises sale and consumption of beer, wine, and alcoholic beverages located at 36 Northeast 15th Street, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
I'll move it. Moved by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilwoman Wallman. Any comments from council?
Yes, Mayor. Just wanted to let everybody know, this is for the Boardwalk Restaurant. It's a very good restaurant, by the way. It's for the Boardwalk, and that's when I support alcohol, when it comes with an eating establishment. So, yes, thank you.
They have great pizza.
Calzone.
This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gardner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
No.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Good job.
We now on legislative matters.
First legislative item is the second reading and public hearing of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code by amending Chapter 28 Utilities by amending Article 5's extension of sewer and water and sewer systems by amending Section 28-192 refunds to provide for permissible refund for a period of 10 years rather than 5 years concerning subsequent utility connectors refund payment to original applicant and constructor of extensions of water or sewer service, to provide for community development district situations, revising administrative fees and clarifying provisions described herein, providing for inclusion of code, severability, and an effective date. Second reading, public hearing.
So moved, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Garner. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Hodge. Any comments from council? If not, I'll go with the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience on this issue? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gardner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, supporting the Miami-Dade Public Schools Legislative Initiative and request the Florida Legislature providing for an effective date.
I'll move this, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hodge. Any comments? If not, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gardner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carried.
At this time, do we have any public comments? Any public comments at this time? If not, business from the city manager. Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I have a couple of things, several announcements. First, I'd like to remind the viewing public and people who are visiting that a representative from Congressman Mario Diaz-Ballard's office is available the third Wednesday of every month in City Hall to assist residents with any questions or concerns having to do with federal issues such as immigration, Social Security, Veterans Affairs, Medicare, and federal grants. If you need assistance with any of these types of matters, please come by City Hall. It's here at 790 North Homestead Boulevard between the hours of 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. The representative will be here tomorrow. They'll be here tomorrow, January 17th, and on February 21st and March 21st. So a reminder, this has been an ongoing program, but we like to remind people periodically that they have that availability from the Congressman's office. Also, in keeping with what we usually do here this time of the year, the IRS and the City of Homestead have once again teamed up to provide assistance in income tax preparation to the residents. Residents can have their federal income tax returns electronically filed and receive answers to their tax-related questions at the following sites. All services are free, and your refund can be direct deposited in your bank account in less than 7 days. The locations are the Homestead Family YMCA from February 3rd through April 14th. That's at 1034 Northeast 8th Street. Saturday's time is from 10 a to 2 p. Again, Southdate Weed and Seed at PAL Gym, January 31st through April 11th, and that's 600 Southwest 14th Street, Redland Road. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you have any questions, you can visit our website for this information or call Lillian Delgado, which is at 305-224-4415. We'll also, in approximately 2 weeks, we'll be cleaning the brick pavers on Chrome Avenue. And that's quite a job that they're going to have there. It'll take approximately 3 weeks for all of the cleaning to be done. The company in charge will be coordinating the hours and days with the Homestead PD, and we'll post more information on the city's website. During the day, they'll do the brick pavers. In the evening, they'll do the street where they have the design in the streets. They'll be doing that in the evening, so they'll be coordinating with the PD. We'll be requesting to set up a special call meeting in the near future as soon as we can to discuss and or make a decision on the consent decree with the county regarding the fill pit. We were going to bring that up tonight, as you may have been informed, but I think it's a little more detailed and we need a little more time than just I guess spring it on you, so to speak. So we will, however, time is of the essence, and we will be asking for that shortly. We'll also be requesting a workshop for the land trust as well, and we will be notifying you and setting up dates for that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Councilwoman Garner?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to congratulate staff and the Human Relations Board on an excellent Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast. I've enjoyed it every year, and this year, they've topped their speaker every year. I don't know how they're going to do it this year. Bishop Victor Curry was amazing. I mean, people at my table had tears in their eyes several times. It was very moving. It was a very enjoyable breakfast, and I don't know how they're going to beat it next year, but kudos to them. Just an update. I think I told you previously the Mayor's Youth Council decided to go to Boston this year. Our 4-day trip includes a tour of Freedom Trail, the State House, Boston Common, the Old South Meeting House, Old Ironsides, a lot of different historical places. This is at no cost to the students. We don't want them to have to they're fundraising, but I don't want them to get there and have to pay for their meals. So we've used a very good tour company that's all-inclusive. It's about $1,100 per person, and the Youth Council has been fundraising. They made over $2,000 at 4th of July selling drinks, cotton candies, and things like that. They work with the Police Explorers, and the two groups have become friends and started fundraising for their own different events, and then they split the costs, or split the whatever they made. They also made almost $500 at Trunk or Treat doing the same thing. And we've been very happy. The last week we got donations. MVRT donated $1,000. Community Bank donated $500. And our lobbyist, Bob Levy, he donated $500. We're still about $12,000 short because we'd like to take all 30 students if we can. So if anybody out there is willing to make a donation, we will gladly accept it. If you need a letter for your taxes, I'll write it right now. You can contact me or Patty here at City Hall, and we really would appreciate that. I'll give you an update on that next meeting. Hopefully we'll have more money to tell you about. Mr. Bray, luckily I've seen that the lights, the poles are up at Campbell and Kingman, but there's still bags of them. Do you have any idea when they're going to be operational?
Well, they've actually assured us that by the end of this month it will be up and running. So
that is excellent to hear.
We're keeping our fingers crossed. Let's see.
Yes, it's still quite a mess in the morning. In fact, I called Major Kennedy the other day because I was waiting, as I do every morning at Campbell and Kingman, trying to turn west. And there's a long line of people because most people are trying to get either to the turnpike or to the west side of town. And some county cop decided that they were going to go in the eastbound lane and cut across. So I immediately called Major Kennedy, and he sent someone out, and there were other cars that saw the county cop and thought, well, you know, if a cop can do it, I can do it too. So 3 other cars followed them, and it was quite a mess. Major Kennedy immediately sent somebody out. I heard that there were 8 people who got tickets. Hopefully it won't happen again, because you know when it hits your pocketbook, that's really when it affects your behavior. But it's good to hear that the light will be up, and I know that will help tremendously. Just one other thing. Do you know who's in charge of the median there on Kingman? Does anybody know?
No, we know who we think it is.
We know who we think it is?
The Homeowners Association.
All the way at the end at Kingman and Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there's an agreement. There is debate over that. They want to get rid of it now that other builders have come in there, but they've just kind of abandoned it and made that decision on their own, I guess.
Right, I thought it was just to the east.
We're at odds of whether that can happen or not happen.
Okay, because Oasis Plaza's coming in, it's got the landscaping, it's looking nice, and then you look at the median and it looks horrible.
I guess we're waiting out each other, I don't know.
Well, let's put some pressure.
Okay.
Thank you, Kurt. That's it, Mayor, thank you.
Question, Mayor. How far behind schedule would you think that light is?
2 years.
This is good. This has been going on months.
2 years.
Every month it's another month. Every month it's another month.
At least 6 months, at least, in terms of delays. They were originally said by July of 2006 when they were going to be completed, and it's been 6 months, pretty much since then.
It's at least 6 months past.
And you're right. Every time we ask, they say another 3 weeks, another 3 weeks, another 3 weeks. But hopefully we're at a point now where they're going to take some action to make sure that it gets completed.
But we could use the analogy of some other situations where we couldn't get any responses from the county, and we ask them, how many people do we need to kill? Just give us a number, because remember the Mallory and 6th Avenue, we kept asking for a light. They killed 6 or 7 people in one accident. Within 15 days, 10 days, there was a light up in place working, 100% functional. And it shouldn't have to get that bad before we get some sort of response from the county other than 30 more days.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Gets a little bit monotonous after a while. I'm sorry, Ms. Garner, but thank you, Mayor.
I echo your thoughts. Very frustrating.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Councilman Hodge?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Just want to piggyback on Ms. Gardner's asking for donations for our Mayor's Youth Council, and I think that we should talk to Curtis Gray about all the money he had tonight.
We had to send him a letter. We'll follow up that letter with a phone call.
So we just want to iterate that, and and just ask for the business community to come out and really support this trip. The kids really had a great time last year, and we ask for your support. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Kurt, I just wanted to add my compliments to all city staff and all the volunteers who worked together to put together the Martin Luther King breakfast.
Marlene and her crew.
Bishop Curry was an informed and articulate and beautiful speaker, and while we all don't necessarily agree with some of his political points that were made, overall it was just the best presentation I've ever seen at any one of those events, bar none. So I just want to compliment everyone who was involved in putting that together, and the parade as well. And it was just phenomenal, the number of people who were lining that very long route to view that parade. This morning, I was joined by Councilman Porter and Councilwoman Bell and the management staff, and we executed the renewal or the new contract with the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Union. Those city employees who are covered under that bargaining unit. We're very pleased to enter into that agreement, and I will tell you there were some really sincere and heartfelt compliments passing in both directions. And Richard, I want to compliment the attorneys and staff from your office who have just done a fantastic job in the last couple of years working through very difficult circumstances and situations. And also, again, want to publicly compliment and commend those on the other side of the bargaining table who came and worked in good faith. And the city's going fairly quickly arrived at an agreement we could all live with, and life goes on, and we're not a community of labor disputes and finger pointing. It's I think the feeling is let's all work together and get to where we need to be on that issue. It was nice to have newly re-elected and sworn in Congressman, House Representatives Mario Diaz-Balart in our community a couple weeks ago with the reopening after 8 years of what some of us older timers call Mineral Springs State Park, but the Chiquita Park section of Everglades National Park now. And Councilwoman Bell and I and Congressman Diaz-Balart had a great tour, and it's just good to see that closed sign taken off of the park sign out on Chrome Avenue. And again, we talk in terms of some of the hidden gems in our community, and certainly that facility is it. There are a lot of old line South Dade Countyans represented there and shared their memories of going out there from the early 50s, and what an integral part that area has played in the history of our community in Deep South Bay for many, many years. Want to announce that on Friday, February 2nd, the 3rd or 4th annual Rotary Club of Homestead charity auction will take place at the Harrisfield Barn Pavilion. Tickets are $25 apiece. This event has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for scholarships to high school students from the high schools within our community over the past couple decades, and I urge each of you to come out. And it's a really good community event and a worthwhile cause. Kurt, several weeks ago we authorized the retention of a single issue interim internal auditor, if you will. Is that up and running? What's the status there?
Yes, Vice Mayor Losner, Mayor Commission. The accountant has been down, is doing work. I think comes back down tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, and has been doing work, has been in touch with Councilman Wallman, the Management Committee Chair, and I don't know how many more trips, but he's definitely working. He's been in the office, and I think he's scheduled again tomorrow.
Appreciate that. I hadn't heard that, and I just wanted to touch base. I've had people out in the community ask about it, and I just, I know that we had approved it and didn't know whether or not he was up and running.
Any indication about when he would probably close or finalize that audit?
He hasn't said to me. I don't know, Councilman Wallman.
Anything, Councilman?
we just had a brief conversation. He's hopefully tomorrow, if he's coming tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow he will be able to finish his investigation, and then it'll be presenting us with a report, probably at a council meeting. I don't know what his findings are, but...
Thank you. Kurt, since the earliest days of some of the discussions about the major improvements on 328th, I know Mr. Porter and I have championed making sure that our unique light fixtures are put in place and are included in that project. And I know Mr. Chandra was our man in the field there, making sure that it was there. One of the last conversations I had with him, he expressed his concern that had not yet been included in the project. I just want to make sure that somebody stays on top of that. And who's our point person now with that effort?
Presently, Julio is going to do that. We're looking to replace Rick as we speak.
And just, there are ongoing projects that other agencies, and then certainly I hope that we stay on top of that. Yeah, exactly. Just wanted to remind everyone that I'm working with our clerk to realign the polling places and to find a temporary polling place. We're very hopeful that come next November in Homestead, the Senior Citizen Center will be under construction, and that polling place will need to be replaced at least for next November. And also work toward a realignment such that everyone in Keysgate goes to one location to vote rather than being split between two locations. The village's clubhouse is not overrun as it typically has been in the last couple of elections, and also to ensure that the residents of Waterstone and those new residential areas just south of Campbell Drive have their own dedicated, more neighborhood-oriented polling place. And as those are firmed up with the county, Sheila and I will bring you up to date on that as well.
Thank you so much, because at the Villages of Homestead, there's literally no parking, because people get out there and they put their little chairs out or whatever, and there's no parking. So it's a terrible nightmare.
Well, it's the sheer number of voters who are assigned to that particular facility.
That's a good idea.
And it has the most ample parking at this point. That's some of our issues with Waterstone is which clubhouse will be ready, which is most accessible, which has the most parking. In addition to the one-year temporary place to supplement this, or to replace the Senior Citizen Center within a reasonably close proximity. And parking certainly has been one of our biggest concerns. And finally, I know I've seen emails, I'm sure most of us have, about some of the concerns some of our residents who've recently come here and are now in the electric utility area on the east side. I'm wondering, Mr. Hodge, if you had anticipated having any meetings with them so that we can, as a group, sit and talk with them and hear their concerns and talk about the rate issues and power cost adjustment. I know I've seen some emails back and forth, and then, for those who weren't here through the last gnashing of teeth over electrical utility issues, I think if we can do it, we owe them perhaps a public discourse on how we got here from there. If you could do that with coordinating the mayor's schedule and through the utility committee.
Mr. Lawson, I think back when I was first elected in 2003, we had a couple of charrettes throughout the community explaining the electric utility and how to save electric, so that's something that we could go back and revisit.
Well, certainly many of those who are questioning that now were not in place, nor were their homes in place in 2003, and it's good, an educated public is our best public. I appreciate your efforts on that. That's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Councilman Porter? Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. In the past, a lot of people have asked a lot of questions about Homestead Miami Speedway and the events that take place. We can't seem to get the information out. And I asked them on occasions to bring information to me so that I could talk about it. But what we're going to do is, Lillian has agreed, and we're going to put this on the city's website, some sort of a link. So, because there's, they got the truck series out there tomorrow and Thursday, and then the 20th is a Skip Barber Racing School. The 27th, they've got the Richard Petty driving experience and the rides that everybody likes to know about. And then in the 1st of February through the 4th of February, they've got the Andretti Gordon Racing School. So, they're busy, and a lot of people can go out, and a lot of these events are open to the public. But if you're interested in what's going on at the Speedway, go to the city's website. We'll have some information that keep you up to speed. Hey, that was pretty good. Keep you up to speed on everything. I've had a couple of complaints about noise. I know we've all gotten emails and noise in neighborhoods, but in addition to that, the Redland Hotel has got a problem with noise from Champagne's, which is on the corner of Chrome, and they're on the corner of Flagler. Now, I know that Champagne's has the right to operate till 3 in the morning because it's the Arts and Entertainment District, but they don't have a right to necessarily make so much noise on the public street that the hotel, a good block away, can't. What is the ruling when they have a right to operate and stay open past, they have extended hours, but if they're creating a problem for a hotel, which is that far away, they don't have the right to operate on the street, do they?
No, Councilman Porter, and there's a distance issue if you're hearing the loud noise over a certain distance. We'll check on that. I think sometimes they leave their doors open too, I guess, with the people going in, and so that's probably pumping right out.
Well, can we take a look at that and find a balance? Because I know, that is the intent to have entertainment, but it shouldn't be at the expense of the surrounding neighborhood. So if the chief could have someone looking at that, because I think they called the police department, and the police department said they have a right to do what they do. Yes, they do. They have a right to stay open extended hours in the arts and entertainment area. But I'm not sure they have a right to make the noise outside the facility till 3 in the morning.
Exactly. And how long ago did you get that?
When I was lined up for the parade.
Oh, just then? Okay. So we've addressed it once before because we'd heard the complaint and we had addressed, so we'll have to see what's going on with it.
Well, just find out what the happy medium is. I know the Vice Mayor brought up the lights. I had that as something that we want to definitely keep our arms around because that's a county project, and you've got a couple shots at this, and if we miss it big. So I know both of us will continue to ask that question. Also, the alternate route, we talked about trying to get someone down here from DOT, a decision maker, someone who has the ability to give us some appropriate information. I mean, as like we talked about before, for 9 years we were in the queue, we were out of the queue, we're approved, we're not approved.
Actually, somebody from FDOT is scheduled to be here next Tuesday. I was trying to confirm with them today. I called several times and sent an email. However, I haven't got a response yet. He's supposed to be here on the agenda for next Tuesday.
Okay, so we're going to do it. We'll be able to talk hopefully in the next committee of the whole.
Yes.
So that's very important. As we clean up downtown, we've got to get the trucks out of there. Got to get the trucks off there.
Be sure you have your meeting on Chrome Avenue.
Well, if you followed this issue, we sat here for years thinking we had an approved alternate around the historic district for any traffic, but specifically to get the heavy vehicles off of Chrome. But without some sort of an alternate around the historic district, we're not going to be able to ever have curbside dining, be able to close the street off for indefinite periods of time. If it was my understanding the last time we talked about this, if we could provide an alternate, it may be able to have the DOT to give that portion of the road, the historic district, back to Homestead. Then we would be able to do a lot more events with that section of the historic district. So it's really, I just want to make sure that I understand and that the council understands where we are in this process, because they've changed it on us so many times. And I just don't know.
I'll make sure to confirm that appointment as soon as possible.
If not that meeting, please, as quickly as possible.
I promise I will.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Councilwoman Roman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that I have several pieces of business, but I wanted to say that we lost a wonderful person in our community, Miss Betty Rutsky-Quillen, and Mr. Vice Mayor and I happened to be at the funeral home for the services. And I don't know about you, Vice Mayor, but the noise was so bad from the trucks. I mean, I feel so bad for the family. You couldn't even hear the minister because the noise was so bad on Crum Avenue. So, that's sad. That's very sad. So, you got to do something. That's why I said have the meeting on Crum Avenue. Let them see what these businesses go through on a daily basis. I mean, how many businesses have we seen close their doors because they can't make a living on Crum Avenue because of the trucks? So, but anyway, on that note, I have some news about parks. Audubon Park, we had a little bit of problem there with some of the surfacing, so we had to go back to square one, but we were advised that all the construction drawings and the specifications should be ready to go to procurement by the week of February 5th. So that's moving right along, and hopefully we'll see some improvement there very soon. I'd also like to mention that the tennis and racquetball courts at J.D. Red Park have been resurfaced with a blue-green color combination. I haven't seen it personally, but I hear it looks great. We'll also be installing additional benches and receptacles there. There's 3 other projects that we're working on. Mini Park at Southwest 5th Street and 4th Avenue. There's going to be renovation, Roby George Park restroom renovation, and design of batting cages for J.D. Red. Mini Park will be developed into a beautiful passive neighborhood park. Roby George restrooms will be gutted to remove the existing stainless steel fixtures, which they need to be gone. It's just so unattractive that I'm just so happy that we're able to start that. I just can't tell you. And access will be provided from the basketball court area to the bathrooms. A generic batting cage layout will be designed for installation at J.D. Red Park. So that's going to be a huge improvement. Also, Harrisville will be the host of our high school district soccer tournaments. Girls will be January 16th, 17th, and 19th, and the boys January 23rd through the 25th. So that's coming up real soon. We're also going to have the rodeo, which is going to be at the end of the month, and that will be at the Harrisville Rodeo Arena. That's January 26th, 27th, 28th. I'm going to be holding a tourism and beautification meeting tomorrow night. It's a pretty long agenda. Hopefully we'll get some things accomplished. Management review will be in February or the 1st of March. I'm going to get together with the manager, see what's on his calendar, excuse me, and move that right along. Attended Ms. Homestead pageant. Leslie Spinella won. I was so thrilled because, I'll be on. I was so thrilled because I've known her since she was a baby, and her mother and I used to work together for years and years, and my son's named after her dad, so I was so thrilled for Leslie. She did a beautiful job, and I've invited her to come to the council, Mayor, so that we can present her as our Miss Homestead, and she'll be going to Miss Florida. And also the last thing I wanted to say is that Relay for Life is gearing up again. As many of you know, I chaired it for many, many years and have worked very, very hard on it. But I'm taking a hiatus this year, and I will walk the track as a survivor. And but I want to encourage all the city to get involved. I know we have teams here in the city, and our team members are working hard to move things along, so I ask that the directors and staff be lenient with them and attend their car washes and all their fundraisers, because it's such a wonderful cause, and I'm very proud of them, that they've stepped up to the plate once again and shown this community that the city of Homestead has employees that care. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone's already said wonderful things about the MLK breakfast, but it really was a great event. It was just run very, very smoothly, and my compliments to staff on that. I attended a chamber networking breakfast at Cece's Pizza, and it was very interesting how they were able to make breakfast pizza. So if you can imagine it, they did it, and I just wanted to compliment them. It's a great little place to take your family. It's just a really nice place. Last Wednesday, I did my work day in development services, and to paraphrase an old song, that joint was jumping. I mean, that is a hopping department, although I think probably every city department is. I started the day with a P&Z meeting at 8 a.m. Yes, I said that, 8 a.m. And it was interesting. It was kind of a light agenda, so that was good. And then I literally was here till 4:30 and didn't stop. We did both sides of the aisle, if you will, and it was very, very interesting. But what a busy department, and everybody works. And I got to sit with everybody and get the scope of what everybody's job entails and kind of see the scope and reference of that, as well as I went on a plumbing inspection, so that was very interesting. So it was just a really, really good day, and I'll be writing an article on that as well, and it'll be submitted to the Tribune as well as the South Dade Newsletter. We attended the COA ribbon cutting, the parking lot project, and it was very, very, very nice. I also was very pleased to go to Chiquita Park for the grand reopening and ribbon cutting of that. And Steve and I were talking, and I remember taking my kids there over 20 years ago when one of my 3 children didn't even exist yet, and the other 2 were very, very young. So what a great thing to see, as Steve said, that closed sign come off of that for Chiquita Park. And what a wonderful little kind of surprise right off of the highway when you pull in there. Just a beautiful little paradise that we have right here in our own backyard. And we need to utilize them more. They're really, really lovely places to go. So I wanted to just compliment everybody on that. That was really good. So just a nice monumentous occasion after all of these years. We also have been having very frequent EFBD meetings, and we're looking forward to a February groundbreaking that we're coordinating right now with the Dade County School Board. So you all be noticed on that. Also, congratulations to staff and good work with the IBEW contract signing. And it's nice to sit on the table where both parties are very pleased with the end result. That's always a wonderful thing. And I wanted to mention, we had an earlier mention of the lunchtime lecture series, and I wanted to mention February's because it's really going to be wonderful. And it is the BPESCO lunchtime lecture series, and this is in February, and this is a celebration of Black History Month. And actress and scholar Phyllis McEwen, she is going to be portraying Zora Neale Hurston. And if any of you haven't heard of Zora Neale Hurston, she was a wonderful author, and she wrote Their Eyes Were Watching God, and it's just a very interesting book. She's a very interesting woman. And she's Florida's Harlem Renaissance author, anthropologist, and storyteller. And so this woman is going to be doing a live dramatization of Zora Neale Hurston. So I think that's going to be very, very interesting. Monday, February 5th, 12 noon, and it's going to be at the Homestead Branch Library. And then the following night at FICO Williams at February the 6th at 7 p.m. And it's going to be an evening with Zora, a Genius Revived, presented by Paragon ladies of the Dove Zeta Phi Beta sorority. So I think this is going to be very interesting, and I'm going to set this back there. And you can always as well go on the website as well, and just good stuff that happens. This is put on by the Homestead Center for the Arts. So that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bell. And again, thank you for that truancy announcement. It was fantastic.
You know, Mayor, we were going for like a little more than $100,000. And I would have been excited to come back to you with $120,000, $150,000, and we came back with $2,056,000 for the city of Homestead and the surrounding area. So I'm going to tell you, God is good. You just throw it out there and ask for it, and we got it. So it's just really exciting.
Just a few items. Two, would like to add my response to the leadership of the King breakfast and the parade. And I know Ms. Volker don't say too much, but I know behind the scenes She's there, she's involved, she's engaged, and she makes it happen. So Marlene, I want to publicly thank you because I know what you're doing. Thank you. And I just want to ask the public, we got a major insurance crisis on our hands in the state of Florida.
Yes, we do.
And I know the special legislature is soon to convene and look at some options. And I just ask our public to stay engaged and keep emailing the governor's office and our representatives to make sure they come up with something that's going to help reduce the insurance rates in the state of Florida. So just don't sit in your living room and think it's going to happen. You keep the pressure on. I think the pressure's on in Tallahassee, and I'm hoping something positive come out of the special session. Lately, I've been receiving some very negative emails about, and Councilwoman Wallman mentioned earlier, about beautification. We have some areas in our community that really need a careful look at. We need to do some cleanup. So Councilwoman Wallman, when your beautification committee meets, could you all take a look at a citywide initiative on beautification and probably at a committee of the whole we talk about it? I really think we need to put some effort behind it. Some of these emails are from visitors that come. I think the Vice Mayor was CC'd on some of them too. But if we could just take a look at some really hot spots, and I know we got the correction crew and some others that we may want to be a little more persistent on the beautification efforts, so we can come up with some. I think that would be very, very helpful.
Starts with cleanup.
Yeah. And then finally, on the, I was very, very impressed with the marketing group and at the committee of the whole. And Mr. Manager, if one of the first projects we can get done this year is an annual report, I would hope that it'll be on the top of the agenda. The very first one we'll have in the city. I think it'd be very, very, we can send it out to some very key people. I've seen some other cities that have put it together, some beautiful reports, and I think we have everything we need to make it happen. So if we can get them, let that be their first project, in addition to some of the other things they're doing with the branding and what have you, I think it'd be very helpful. On the agenda is an announcement that we have one opening for the Education Committee, and Councilwoman Bell is asking for anyone that have some time and want to get involved with the Education Committee, submit your resume to the clerk's office, and we'll make it happen. Mr. Stouts have provided me with a listing of members of the Land Trust for appointments. Could I have a motion to have these approved? And
offer motion, Mayor.
Moved by Councilman Hodge, a second?
Second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Port. Any questions?
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
When I reviewed these, I spoke with Mr. Stouts earlier today and expressed my concern that a couple of the proposed members of the initial board were his subordinates, and from a perception standpoint, I had a concern about that. I mean, we've seen this at the county level recently where there are board members subject to, or committee members subject to, the whims of their superiors. I understand that typically, and to go out and raise the money through grants and so forth from many different sources, that 3 of the 9 members, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rick, need to be from within city staff. Is that a correct generalization? But I do have my reservations that those 3 are all from within the CRA. And I'm wondering if tell me anything to soothe my fears about the perception or the reality that I mean, I know that we need to have that. It's just I'm just concerned that they're all coming from within the same department, and 2 of the 3 are under the direct supervision of another board member.
You're absolutely correct, and long-term, that's not a good idea. While the board is still organizing, if you will, the 3 of us would have to most likely attend the board meetings anyway. to help keep the board on task, to make sure they understand not only what they can do according to their bylaws, but what they can't. The reason that the 3 members of city employees are necessary is that we wanted the board structured as if it were a CHODO, which is a special kind of nonprofit director-driven corporation that can access home and other federal funds. If we can have the board be the same makeup as a CHODO makeup, they can serve the same purpose, and we don't end up needing to set up a separate nonprofit corporation, either a CDC or some other kind of entity to become a CHODO. So one body can serve for the same purpose, just as the same group of individuals serve as the council and as the CRA board. If you notice, the 3 people from the city are appointed for varying terms. 1 for 3, 1 for 2, 1 for 1, and I'm the one that's for 1. I hope to rotate off at the end of the first year because I don't believe that I'm going to have time to continue to serve based on other things we see coming down the road. So it's my intention to serve 1 year, helping to kick off and then rotate off. Dan, much the same thing. I expect he will become more and more busy, and at the end of 2 years it will be hard for him to stay. I would hope that whoever our community development director is will remain a permanent seat, if you will, on the board of directors, because the land trust is really a citywide initiative, not a CRA initiative. And that's why Lauren is the one with the 3-year term, not Dan or I. But since we're going to have to be there anyway, and since we need less education on the land trust than anybody else that you would appoint from within city government, it just seemed to make sense to us that we take on that role, at least on a temporary basis. And that was the reason for it.
I appreciate that, and I understand that the format of the land trust is under review by the attorneys now, and we'll have the opportunity to fly spec, if you will, the governing document for that land trust and how it operates.
We will be bringing to you shortly, as Kurt said, we're going to be trying to set up a workshop. We'll be bringing to you shortly the strategic plan, or draft of the strategic plan, a draft of the bylaws. Hopefully by then the attorneys will have finished their review of the incorporation documents that we provided to them, as well as the proposed ground lease for the properties that will be owned by the land trust. We'll be bringing that to you in a workshop so that you can hear what we're proposing and tweak it as you desire as a city council. We need to be very deliberate in this, because once we set up the corporation with its own board of directors, the city council will no longer be able to dictate to that board how the land trust operates. It will be a 501c3 of its own. What we have to do is make sure that we birth the baby correct and get it started right. And then if they continue to operate the way we should, or the way we hope that they will, then we will continue to support them as we would any other nonprofit. So it's our function to get them started right with good documents and good procedures and a good strategic plan.
Mayor. Thank you. When the land trust is formed, that's a governmental body, yes?
No, it's a private.
So the Sunshine wouldn't play a part in that?
No. Now, if they are doing certain things, then the Sunshine would play a part in that when they are working.
Can I just stop you for a second? I think we need to. I think it's an interesting question, and
we need to look into it.
I know. I like to look at it.
Okay.
As opposed to you giving legal advice on that.
Because my thoughts are.
I don't want to contradict you anyway, I'd like to look at that issue and the cases that deal with the Sunshine Law before we sort of make a differentiation, if you don't mind.
And I'll finish my thoughts. My thoughts are that if you actually have your own employees working with you, and we do fall under Sunshine, and I do suspect that it will, at least until it's eased into the 501c3. I think that you may have some issues wherein you really couldn't have a discussion with your own employees, if you do fall under sunshine, concerning the land trust, which would really be self-defeating. I think it would be more powerful to have, for city employees to have 2 outside of the CRA city employees, and then still have your staff attend with you. I mean, I think that is kind of like the EFBD board, where I'm the only representative from the city, but we have other city staff sit in on the EFBD meetings. We have our manager's office, when we have our attorney's office sit in. So I think it would be more of an impact and more powerful if you still did actually have other employees from within the city, but not from within the CRA.
Whatever the will of the council is fine with us.
Well, I think you're self-protecting that way. I think then you have appearance, you have, if there's a sunshine issue, I think the Vice Mayor made a very good observation. I was thinking more in the area of sunshine violations, and so you'd be able to want to communicate with your staff. So I think in lieu of our attorney looking into it, I still think maybe we ought to look into 2 other outside staff members, but keeping these 2 attending the meetings, because I think you're going to need them as staff. If you're going to need them as staff, why then have them on the actual trust itself? I think it would look better and be better if we had other employees. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Question there. Mr. Porter, what I'd like to do is, we're having a workshop. Could we just move this forward and at the workshop with the legal opinion on it, we can always make adjustment to the membership if need be. Because I look at it both ways. If they're going to be independent, a 501c3, and the city would no longer have any authority, at least having 3 members, whether they're under the same department, what have you, we still have a voice to a certain extent. We can continue to guide
this. Rick, correct me if I'm wrong, the actual land trust has not been created.
No.
Right. No. So I think that the way I thought this was sort of your intention to appoint these people, because you really would wait until the body actually was formed, until you actually make the appointments. I thought this was an indication of who you intended to appoint, so you can move it forward as sort of an indication, and probably once the land trust was actually a physical being, we would come back and ratify that along. I think that's probably the right procedure, but you could vote and say, this is who I intend to appoint, and then that will help us to have a parameter for looking at the issue.
And the 3 members who are local government employees are the 3 that are always appointed by the mayor subject to the approval of the council, not just today, but 10 years from now. As those terms expire, those people will be reappointed by the council, but by the mayor subject to the approval of the council.
Good. That's good. That's good. Mr. Porter, you want to?
No, the attorney answered the question, because we haven't even gone through we haven't even established it yet, so that's fine.
I mean, if you wanted to move it as just an indication of your intention to appoint these people, I think that if that moves along and moves us to the workshop, that way we'll have some specific people to study, and we can talk to Rick about how those people interact during the day when there is any kind of an issue.
That's good.
Well, there was a motion in a second, so we can move it forward and refer it to the committee. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And I have no other business. I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening, and we'll say Happy New Year to each and every one of you, and we look forward to another good year. Thank you all.